Trisha from Tribe to Village. This is our tribe, our village, our family. And today we have the amazing lupus warrior, Miss Marte. Hi, Marte.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for
Great.
having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. I mean, you guys, Marte has been a fighter of lupus for 15 plus years. So we really appreciate you coming on and just sharing your experience with us. Thank you.
Pleasure for you, for the crowd, for
Yeah.
the people who follow your page and look at these videos. I've watched some of them myself, so I'm here.
Oh, thank you. So, Marte, what were your symptoms before you were officially diagnosed with lupus?
Well, I was officially diagnosed with symptoms of hair loss.
Mm.
Symptoms of hair loss and joint pains. So
Mm-hmm.
I was a tiny little human being at the age of 14, when you're just like all about you,
Yes.
look
The
cute.
prime ratchet years. I mean, active years.
You can call them ratchet for me. You can call it that. My hair was falling out, and I was at the beginning of high school, so I was in volleyball, softball, every sport you can imagine, I was with it. But I couldn't really play that well because my joints and my elbows specifically wouldn't allow me to.
Wow.
Um, my joints were stuck. I couldn't move them. I couldn't move my elbows past this point. So
Wow.
once we started noticing that every time the seasons changed, that
Mm.
was happening, then my mom and myself, we started getting more concerned, and going to the doctors more. And then over a series of a lot of years, it took years to get a complete diagnosis, was when then I was able to like, okay, this is what it is.
You know, when you said hair loss and joint pain, I was like, that's it. But not to minimize it, but
Mhm.
just to say, like at what point did you say, okay, enough is enough? Like I need to get to the doctor to where they diagnosed me. Because you said it took years and years. So what changed that they finally said, okay, we know what this is. This is what you have. You have lupus.
So with lupus, especially I'm going to say 15 to 20 years ago, because it has been that long. Between 15 and 20 years ago, lupus wasn't something that was quickly diagnosed to begin with, because they
Mm,
had to rule out so many things. Lupus is an autoimmune disease. So your immune system attacks your own tissue, your healthy tissues. And it wasn't so much what I was doing, because I was going to the doctor. My mother did not play around when it came to me. I'm her only child. But
mm.
when I did go to the doctor, it was like, okay, well, her joints are hurting. Maybe it's this.
Oh,
Her hair's falling out. Maybe it's that.
maybe
And
it's stress, or maybe she overworked during exercise, or I get it. Yeah.
basically, and it to the point to tell you that when I was first diagnosed and my hair was falling out, because I was like 14, 15. I went to the Dominican Republic. I had braids in my hair, and
Mhm,
I came back to New York. I took them out
mhm.
and it all fell out in the braids. I went to the doctor and they gave me antifungal medications.
Oh,
That spiraled me because I was allergic to that. And I
uh-huh.
ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks
Wow, because of the medication.
because of the meds. So
Wow.
there was unfortunately, I'm grateful that we're doing this, because a lot of people who have lupus end up getting diagnosed with things that they don't necessarily have,
Mhm,
because autoimmune diseases, fibromyalgia,
mm,
arthritis, this and the other thing. But when it comes to lupus, it specifies itself eventually. Um,
mm.
I said I have lupus SLE because it could attack me anywhere in my body.
And
But
that's
right now,
the systemic one, right?
systemic, yes. Right
Okay.
now it's specifically only attacking my kidneys.
Hmm.
So right now I have lupus nephritis.
So lupus could change over the course
Yeah,
of, the disease. Is there a cure for lupus?
not to my knowledge. They
No.
say there is. People will tell you anything. People will tell you that. I've met people who have said you just need to change your diet and stress less, which is, yes, you should change your diet and stress less. But to tell someone who's struggling that basically there's something wrong with, you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you
Mm-hmm.
can't get it under control is rough. Because
Yeah.
it's rough. You're struggling right now. It's
Yeah.
not, you don't know what to do. You don't know who to listen to. If you stop taking the meds, you feel horrible. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't take the meds, you feel horrible. And then someone telling you just change your diet, you'll be fine. It's even worse.
So what is the cause of lupus?
Lupus is caused by, it's genetic, or it could be stress. It,
Mm,
I'm not, there's no like pinpoint to what causes lupus.
yeah. So it could
It,
be genetic and environmental, the combination of the two triggers.
yeah.
Okay. So how did you feel? So you finally got the diagnosis after all these years. How did you feel when you found out that you had lupus?
I was a baby. I was 16, maybe going, I was 16, 15, 16, like a whole year later, and year and some months later. And you're a teenager. You don't, it's not that I didn't believe it,
Mm,
but I didn't do a lot of the things that happened while I was in high school happened. Basically, if I didn't have my mother, I would be very sick.
mm,
Because it's not that I wasn't, I knew I had it.
uh-huh.
It was in my brain, but I
Mm,
wasn't accepting of it because I didn't want to take the medication. I
oh,
didn't want to have to take prednisone. I didn't want to have to do the intravenous chemo stuff. But
mm.
I got so sick that it wasn't an option.
You just wanted to be a kid.
I just wanted to go to softball practice
Yeah.
and play volleyball. I didn't want to do anything else.
And how did your mom react to it? So you were like, you basically like, it is what it is, but that's not my problem. I want to keep going. But you said your mom was on top of it. How did she react when the doctor said, okay, this is what you have?
It was similar. Um my mom is a healer. So meaning that my mom will heal you through prayer. My mom will heal you through medicinal things, herbs. My mom is a healer in that sense through natural juicing and things like that. And
Teas, all the different teas.
all of it, all
Yeah.
of it, genuinely all of it. And I am the same way. Like, I rather drink a beet juice with carrots
Yeah.
than take a Tylenol with whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so it was difficult for me to see me take medication, and it
Mm,
was difficult for me to take medication. But
mhm.
we got to a point where I was so sick that it was not an option.
Wow.
I had to, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I think one of the things that has saved me and has people fooled, like the fooled, essentially, is that they'd be like, "Whoa, you have lupus, you don't even look sick," which is ridiculous. Is that I'm constantly, you see me with like the 10 bottles of teas and the grape, this juice and the other juice and the food. And sometimes I'm not that great at it, but most of the times I do have like all my stuff with me.
Mhm. You know, that's so interesting. Like there's so many of us walking around and you don't know what the next person is carrying. You know, you can't even say, "Oh, you look so and so." Like, yeah, but you know, on the inside, I feel like this, that, and the third. Or when I'm at home and could release all my guards, I feel like this, that, and the third, you know? So it's
Yeah,
very important to not judge and to not try to minimize, like, girl, you sure? You sure you have lupus? You know?
I
So
understand all of that. All of
yeah.
that, all of it. I'm very, when I open up,
Mm-hmm.
you can see, as you've experienced, when I open up, I'm open. Like when I'm with my peoples and I'm comfortable, I'm an open book. But
Yeah.
when I'm not around people that I can feel comfortable with, you won't find me arguing with someone who's like, "Oh, but you look fine." I just
Mm-hmm.
look wrong because it's
Mm-hmm.
the point.
That's a good tip. When someone is coming to you and they're trying to like negate what you're saying or argue with it, just let them be. Just
Yeah.
say, all right, all
Okay.
right, feel
Yep.
the way you feel. It
Yeah.
is what it is for you, and it is what it is for me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't let it affect me anymore.
Yeah.
But that's come through a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of tears, a lot of sort of broken heartness with
Mm,
people that you trusted, and it comes with a lot of like just
mhm.
learning through
What
experience.
do you mean, like broken heartedness from people that you trust, in terms of what they just treat you differently since you've had your diagnosis, or
when
what?
when it comes to
Misconception?
friendships, I'm fortunate to say that I've had very good friends
Good.
who are very supportive or were very supportive of me. When
Mhm,
it comes to male relationships with men, I've
mhm,
had people break up with me because they claim in high school, by the way, where I wasn't even going there,
mhm,
break up with me because they thought I was gonna give them something.
mhm.
This is me trying to confide in people who, when I didn't know what to do, I was so sick. I'm like, I have this, I don't know what to do. And I'm talking to a boy about it.
Yeah.
And he broke up with me because I thought I was gonna give him lupus. Uh,
Oh,
I've
wow.
also, and to be honest with you, the person that I loved dearly, even though if it was in high school at the time,
Mhm,
honestly, I felt like he didn't want to be with me because the first things out of his mouth were, my mom also has lupus and I have sickle cell disease. I don't want our kids to be that sick. I'm like,
wow.
I don't want children with you.
Yeah,
That's a date.
yeah.
That him specifically, he taught me a lot. But then
Mhm,
eventually we became friends and we're still friends. And I've forgiven myself for that and him for it too, because he was just looking out for himself and he was more concerned but didn't know how to
mhm.
say that sort of.
You forgiving yourself for what? I missed that part. Huh?
For telling him my business.
Oh, girl.
For telling him my business. I had no business telling him anything. And the other guy, but brokenheartedness in that sense. There were some friends too that were not so considerate of me. They just thought it was like, oh, you're just looking for the pity party type of thing. But that's never been the case.
Mm.
I
So
don't
from
know.
what I'm hearing, it's like a lot of misunderstanding around what lupus is what caused a lot of frayed relationships.
Absolutely.
Mm. So just to clarify, you can't just catch lupus.
No. We can talk about what it is. I can give you off the top of my head a little bit of what I remember. The textbook definition of lupus.
Go ahead, Marte, take the mic. What is lupus for the people in the back?
Lupus is an autoimmune disorder. So your body creates an immune system, and people with lupus or autoimmune disease create like a little other immune system. And this other little immune system, they decide that they want to attack your healthy cells because they're sort of like confused, and they think that those healthy cells are tissues that they need to attack because they're not supposed to be there. So
Mhm,
in my case, my immune system thinks that my kidneys don't belong in my body. So they create B cells and like an immune system version that attacks my kidneys, thinking that it doesn't belong there.
mhm,
Sometimes that happens. So think of that immune system that's sort of like confused. That immune system does that to your heart, does that to your brain, does that to your skin cells. When you see people with butterfly rashes, it does it to your joints, and it could do it to any part of your body, in your lungs. It's everywhere, basically, when you have SLE. Um, Famous people like Nick Cannon have it. Tony Braxton has it. Tony Braxton has a very serious version of it. She has it in her heart.
all right,
Um,
right. I remember that and the whole lawsuit and all of that.
yeah,
Oh, because of lupus.
yeah. Selena Gomez also has it in her kidneys. She had to have a transplant from her friend. That's
Mm,
another thing.
look at that. And these are all people who, like, you would be like, but you don't look sick.
Yeah, but they get to a point where they get very sick.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, like for Selena Gomez, I don't know if she was paying attention to herself, but she got very sick and she had to have a transplant right away because her kidneys must have been failing.
Yeah.
Thank God and thank my mama that
Yeah.
right now, thank this body and these doctors that I haven't gotten to the point where my kidneys are failing. And
Yeah.
for it to be, excuse me, almost 20 years now,
Mhm.
that's a blessing.
It really is, and I think it's so important. Thank you, Marte, for sharing all the famous people who has it, and you as well for sharing your story because it shows us that you could have lupus, but I know that it ranges in severity, right? Of the symptoms, it could be mild and it could be severe. Like you said, Selena Gomez had to have a kidney transplant right away, but I think what talking to you and then seeing all those other people, it just reminds us that even if you have lupus, if you have an autoimmune disease, like you could still thrive. You could still live and, be great and live your best life, even despite it all, you know?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then even if not, like there are situations where I go to the doctor every 4 to 6 weeks. I have an appointment this week coming up, and I run into women who look very sick, and then
Mm-hmm.
I run into women who don't look so sick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I don't know if it was because I was young
Mm-hmm.
or yes, I am very hard-headed. That's what it is.
When's your birthday?
May 8th.
Mm-hmm. Taurus.
Because I am very strong-willed,
Taurus.
I I am I basically said I'm going to do what I want to do with this. I was going to finish high school. I finished high school. I want to go to college. I went to college. I wanted to go away to college and I went and then I ran back down because I got sick up there real bad too. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I had certain ideas and it was it's more about me that I wanted to do those things. I wanted to have my daughter. I wanted to go to do these things. I wanted, just the things that I knew from my foundation I needed to have.
Yeah.
I did because and this was just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't going to get in the way. And when it did get in the way, I slowed down. I learned to slow down and go at its pace so that I could finish whatever I was doing and get to the goal that I wanted.
You
Um,
listen to your body.
sometimes, sometimes I go full head first and then I feel it later and I complain about it,
Uh-huh.
I can tell you that I'm in 35 years, 20 out of those 35 years, we'll call them 20 years now,
Mhm.
because I can say that every year I learn a little bit more how to listen to myself and how to avoid certain things so that I don't get so sick.
What are some of those things? Like, how do you manage your lupus so that you're feeling your best?
Number one thing is I take my medication every day.
Mm, very
I,
important.
I take my medication every day. I've had to get over it when it came to certain medications that physically change the way you look. Like
Mm,
prednisone makes you physically gain weight, you break out, you emotionally don't feel well when you're on them.
wow.
I've learned to ignore that until they take them off, until they taper them off. And then I start to feel like myself. The weight goes off, the skin goes back to normal. And
So basically, you were saying like the pros outweigh the side effects.
yes,
Hmm.
take my medication every day. I try not
That's
to take them.
huge. That's huge for you because you said that you didn't want to take, like when you started, you didn't want to take any medication. And now you're like, no, I need to take it at this time today and tomorrow. So,
And and at this point, it's not hard for me because like it's hard for me not because I don't want to take them. It's hard for me because it's hard to remember to take them, all of them. Because
girl,
deep
set your alarms.
that does not work. It's horrible.
No. Post-its, alarms. Tell your daughter to remind you. Everybody call me at this time.
No, I don't like involving everybody. It stresses my it stresses me out. Imagine having to put that burden on someone else.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you got to find what works. So what has worked for you? Because you said that you take them every day, so something's working for you.
So far, what's going on is that I take them in my bags. So I have some in the car. I have some in my book bag. I have,
Uh-huh.
I have some hidden in my book bag so nobody can get to them at work. And what I do is I sit down and I have a little bit of coffee left, which I shouldn't be taking them a coffee, but
Mhm.
I have a little bit of coffee left, and I sit down, I open my computer, I wait to log in, and then I take them.
Okay, good. So you find what works for you.
So that routine has worked so
Yeah.
far.
Okay.
Last year that didn't work.
Well, I mean, life is a ever evolving journey. You find out what works, what doesn't work, and you adapt to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you take your medication. What else?
I take my medication. I drink a lot of natural juices. I drink a lot of beet juice. I drink a lot of carrot juice. I drink a lot of green smoothies.
That's good for your
Um,
kidneys.
yeah. Well, they're good to supplement the nutrition that you're not necessarily getting.
Okay.
Because your body is so depleted. In my case, specifically right now, my body's very depleted of iron and certain vitamins. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so because of that, I take those types of drinks and I drink those things every day.
Okay.
Um, I have coffee every day because who doesn't? Me. I'm having coffee every day. I don't care. I have like at least 3 to 4 bottles of water. I
Uh-huh.
have I always try to bring like a snack, not so healthy sometimes. Sometimes they are. But I always try to eat from home as well. So if we're not ordering food, you know how we do sometimes.
Speak for yourself.
Um,
I just eat grass.
no, I'm not eating grass. Tried it, didn't taste good. Not even with honey. Um, I usually eat my own food. I don't
Uh-huh.
eat from outside.
Yeah. Do you have to stay away from certain foods? Do you have to stay away from meat, from dairy?
Thank
You
you. Yes. So I don't eat a lot of red meat. I
know.
eat a lot of what are they called when they're not red meat? White meat?
Whole
What
meat,
whole
white
meat?
meat.
So I eat a lot of like chicken, not hold on. It's not a lot, honestly, because I try consumption of meat is also causing an autoimmune disorder, like causing an autoimmune reaction.
Mm.
In and of itself, like if you read up on it, consumption of meat does cause autoimmune
Of
reactions.
any meat or red meat?
So specifically red meat,
Okay.
specifically like pork,
Mhm.
but because you can't really, they've said it's red meat, like they know it's red meat, but because the way that chicken is made now, the way that turkey is made now, pork is the way they process it to be consumed, because that's not in the most natural way, even when it's organic, I don't trust it. So
Wow.
I tend more to eat fish, which is also not great because it has a lot of mercury.
Uh-huh.
So it just I just eat a variety of things, but I eat more fish than I do poultry and red meat.
Wow. So like a vegan diet would be like the best for lupus.
Absolutely will. Absolutely will. But sometimes I just need a little piece of chicharrón and I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So your lupus reacts the best when you cut out red meat and you drink natural juices, eat whole foods, right?
Yep.
Take your medication.
Yes.
Okay.
You can change your diet. So this is my advice to anyone ever watching this and getting a little glimpse of this. Change your diet. It'll only benefit you. However, you have to take your medicine. Take
Mm.
it for the time that they tell you you need to take it, because eventually they will taper it down, and they are the doctors. They know what they're doing. Unfortunately, this disease has been around for a couple of years, a lot of more than 10 years.
Mhm.
Um, thank God right now, a lot of the medication that are out right now for people with lupus is really good medication for them.
Mm.
It's very good medication. They're not giving people prednisone like they did me, like 100 milligrams of prednisone through IV, and I would blow
Yeah.
up like a balloon. They put you on different cocktails that'll really help you. So take your meds, eat right, stress less,
Mm.
and let your body set the pace for you. If you are not feeling well and you are tired, girl, go to sleep.
Mhm.
This weekend was my girl go to sleep weekend.
Mm. Rest. Rest is a
I,
right.
I passed out. I passed out on my couch. I never do that. I don't sleep anywhere but my bed. But
Mhm.
and I passed out on the couch.
Your
That's
body
how
forced you to
my
rest. You no
body
longer
said,
have an option.
Yep, said tate quieta, and I had to sleep. The
Yeah.
kids, you heard them on the phone. They were running amok. They destroyed the living room. But I slept through the whole thing, and I
Uh,
was still so tired that at 9 a.m. this morning, I was
mhm,
still like, I don't know how I'm supposed to go apple picking today.
mhm, mhm.
So
But you're here.
tomorrow's a mandated rest day.
Yes, yes, I love that. Schedule in the mandated rest.
Yeah.
I love that. So, Marte, what advice would you give someone who has is their first time and they heard that they've been diagnosed with lupus or any life-altering autoimmune disease, and they're like just in a state of shock and they feel depressed and overwhelmed? What kind of advice would you give to that person?
Um, I don't know if this is any good, but it helped me not to let the labels overwhelm me.
Mm,
So my advice to someone would be that don't let that label overwhelm you. You're still you. You're still Awilda. You're still Miss Manuba. You're still who you are as a person. And you have to just remember you have whatever it is, goals,
mm,
standards, objectives that you set for yourself moving forward in your life, but you just been someone just added a little something extra for you to take care of, you know? Don't let that label of, oh my God, I have lupus. Oh my God, I have autoimmune disease. Oh my God, I have kidney disease. Don't let that like stump you to the point that you forget who you are. I
yeah,
am a Wilda,
yeah,
Maciel Marte Santana,
yeah.
but lupus is not me. I'm just a woman living with lupus and carrying that with me everywhere I go. But you see me before you see lupus. If I don't tell you,
That's
you don't know.
true story.
If I don't tell you, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna shine first.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's ever a day that I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling well, then
Yeah.
you're like, all right, what's going on? And you ask me and I feel comfortable, I'll let you know. But
Mhm.
that label, that disease, that disorder doesn't supersede the person that you are. And you always gotta work towards bettering and being just you. Just do you. And then the disease comes, it might, make you trip a little bit, get up, keep going. Take
Mm-hmm.
your steps, change your diet, eliminate people who are not serving your purpose
Mm.
because they will
Say that
drain
again?
you.
I think we need to hear that again. Get the megaphone. We need to hear it again.
I said eliminate anybody that's not serving your purpose, anybody that's diminishing you because you have this disease or this disorder, whatever you got going on for yourself, get rid of them immediately.
Eliminate the dead weight.
Eliminate that weight. The only weight you should be carrying is a little bag of lupus a little bag of little pills that you're gonna carry around to your work so that you remember to take your medications. But other than that, people, especially negative people who want to undermine what's going on with you, get rid of them immediately. They're toxic, they'll stress you and will make you more sick.
Mm,
Get
mm,
out. Get out of
mm.
my face.
Oh, that's why she's a warrior. She don't play.
No, not like that. Not anymore. Not ever again.
Well, Miss Marte, Awilda, everything that's awesome. Thank you so much for those gems, your words of inspiration, sharing your story, and just never giving up and just living in your fullness.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for having me.
you.
And thank you for just letting me sit on a platform for half an hour, couple of minutes.
But we gotta go, girl, because you know us, we will stay on here forever.
We will.
And thank you guys for watching and joining us. And we hope that this conversation has touched you. And please, if you know someone who could benefit from it, don't be afraid to share. And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't. Visit our website, all the support. It's welcomed and it's loved and it's appreciated. And let's continue to elevate and grow together. Until next time, bye.